friends. So we were going to do a career day at school. And since we couldn't be at school, I wanted to bring the career day to you. So this is my very good friend and husband, Mr. Rhodes. And he's going to talk to us today about what it's like to be a helicopter pilot in the United States Navy. Are you ready, Mr. Rhodes?
I am ready, Mrs. Rhodes. Good morning to Mrs. Rhodes's class. So I was a helicopter pilot in the Navy, and I flew a big gray helicopter that we're going to show you a video of in just a few minutes. Mrs. Rhodes wanted me to show you some of the things that I flew with while I flew my helicopter. And so one thing every pilot has is gloves. And these are to protect your hands and to help you hold on to things. And there are sharp things when you're climbing on the helicopter before. And while you fly with these on. And these are big, thick, heavy gloves. But the thing that all of you see in the video that you want to know about is the helmet. And this is the helmet that I wear on my head when I fly. It has a little plug in it so that I can talk on the microphone and I can talk to the other people in the helicopter because it's really loud. But then I can also talk to all the people outside of the helicopter that I need to talk to, such as the people on the ground to tell me where to go in order to take off, and then the people in the air to tell me where to go so that I don't hit other people that are flying. Should I put it on, Mrs. Rhodes?
No, I think you can put it on, Mr. Rhodes.
All right, I'll put it on. And so, this is what it looks like with this on, and you would hook the strap, and then you'd have your mic down here like this, and I would talk to all of my friends that are around me while I'm flying to help me keep safe. But there's a lot of things that go on inside of a helicopter, and some of those things require you to have a book. Remember, we always read, and reading is how we learn. But even while I'm flying, I have to read sometimes. And this book, in the front part, tells me how to start the helicopter and how to turn it off. Because it's not like Mommy and Daddy's car, where you turn the key, and it has all kinds of switches and buttons and levers that you have to push in order to make it run. And in the back, it has things that if there's a problem that tells me how to fix the problem that's going on.
Mr. Rhodes, is there a steering wheel in the helicopter?
There is not a steering wheel, Mrs. Rhodes. In fact, it has what we call a cyclic, but it's a stick, and it comes up right here in between your legs. And over here, instead of a gas pedal, it has a throttle, and you move the throttle up and down to make it go faster. It makes the blades on the top spin faster, and when you pull up on it, it makes them spin faster, and you go up, and you push down on it, it makes them spin slower, and you go down. It has pedals too, but they're not brake pedals or gas pedals. They're the pedals that make the tail of the helicopter go left and right, because you have to be able to steer it this way too, because when you fly, things happen in all three directions: up and down, left and right, and forward and backwards.
That sounds really complicated.
It's very complicated, but it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. And then we have what we call a knee board. And the knee board, this lets us keep this, attaches to our leg like this.
Is that why it's called a knee board?
Yes, ma'am. And you can write on it when you fly. Some people put it on this leg, some people put it on this leg. I used to fly with it on this leg so I could rest my hand on it while I was flying to be very gentle with the helicopter. This even has a light in it. I don't have any batteries in it right now, but it even has a light in it so you can see, because sometimes you have to fly at night. And then all of this stuff gets kept in this neat little bag that's padded that keeps it safe. And the other thing Mrs. Rhodes wanted me to bring to show you is my vest. Now, you have to wear this while you fly, and it's really heavy. It weighs probably 40 pounds. And it has everything in it, like an extra radio over here. It has matches. It has a flashlight on it over here. Sometimes you got to be able to see. And the flashlight even has a red lens so that you can shine at night, so it's not very bright. And this is things that protect you while you fly and in other situations that you might need. So Mrs. Rhodes, I think your students would maybe like to see what it looks like when one of the helicopters flew.
I think that would be wonderful, Mr. Rhodes.
So I'm going to open this up and I'll hold it up so you guys can see it. And you'll have to tell me if I have it at the right angle, okay? All right. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Alrighty. Let me find my mouse. Uh-oh. That is what it looks like when one of the helicopters, like I flew, lands on the back of a ship. And if any of you have ever flown on an airplane, you've been to an airport where there's a runway and it's really long, and a plane will come in and it will land on the runway. Well, helicopters can land in one spot, but in the Navy, our spot is just a little square and it's on the back of a ship. So the helicopter is moving and the ship is moving and the ocean is moving the ship. And so sometimes the ship is doing this. And what I had to do was go over that little spot and land right in that little spot. I was pretty good at it. But Mrs. Rhodes used to drive the ship and she was a really good driver. And one time I got to land on her ship. And she was making sure that she kept the ship really steady for me to land on. And we made a pretty good team, just like we do now.
Mr. Rhodes, are you saying that you flew over the ocean?
I did. I flew over the ocean in places where the closest land was actually the ocean floor. That there was no land anywhere to my left or to my right.
Were you scared?
No, I wasn't scared. Because I had my helicopter.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes, for coming and telling us what it's like to be a Navy pilot and to land on ships. Friends, did you know that Mr. Rhodes has actually flown me in his helicopter before? It was a long time before we were ever a couple or married, but it was one of the ways I got to know Mr. Rhodes. And he flew me around in his helicopter over the ocean.
That's right, I did. I think Mrs. Rhodes had a pretty good time with that flight. If you guys have any questions, you have your parents, email Mrs. Rhodes. What's that?
They have their parents, and some of them have other adults at home.
And other adults at home, I'm sorry. Have them email or send your questions to Mrs. Rhodes, and she will tell me, and I will send you an answer.
Thank you, Mr. Rhodes.
You're welcome. Bye, friends.